Preview. Preview.
Between Ukraine and Russia.
Ukrainian troops are refining their tactics and undertaking major offensive operations in Kiev's counteroffensive against Russia. In recent days, Ukrainian forces have reset and have again been undertaking major offensive operations on three main axes in southern and eastern Ukraine, according to a new intelligence update from the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense. Ukrainian forces are using the experiences from the first 2 weeks of the counteroffensive to refine tactics for assaulting the deep, well-prepared Russian defenses. Ukrainian units are making gradual but steady tactical progress in key areas. In this dramatic footage, with the help of drones, Ukrainian fighters were able to detect the positions of Russian soldiers. The footage shows a Ukrainian drone dropping grenades into trenches and fortifications where Russian troops are hiding. Show Russian soldiers fleeing for their lives as Ukrainian forces obliterate their positions with mortar. Russian troops get struck by deadly bombing unleashed by Ukrainian drone operators on the battlefield in Bakhmut. The first piece of footage shows Ukrainian soldiers attaching 2 bombs to a drone and flying it over Russian positions. Then shows a number of Russian dugouts, trenches, and other positions before the area is hit by Ukrainian drone grenades. The armed forces of Ukraine eliminated about 224,630 Russian troops in Ukraine, from February 24, 2022, to June 26, 2023, including 720 invaders in the past day alone. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in a post on Facebook, according to UCRAN8IA. The Ukrainian defenders have also destroyed 4,030 enemy tanks, plus 6 in the past day, and 7,806 armored combat vehicles. With Ukrainian drones blowing up foxholes and trenches, Russian soldiers' embracement. One of the deadliest battles of Russia's invasion of Ukraine took place in the eastern city of Bakhmut. A crucial component of Kiev's counteroffensive, the months-long conflict has been compared to World War I-style combat in which soldiers fought in muddy trenches while ducking artillery fire. Commercial drones that are affordable have emerged as a vital asset in the conflict in Ukraine, serving as both offensive and surveillance. Ukrainian soldiers have mastered the art of rigging commercial drones to dump bombs on Russian soldiers and vehicles in the counteroffensive to retake territory held by Russia. Ukrainian drones have become more and more significant. The 10th Mountain Assault Brigade of Ukraine has released videos showing Ukrainian drone operators dropping bombs on Russian soldiers who can be seen hiding in trenches and under the cover of trees. The video then shows further Russian forces being targeted as a bomb is thrown on Russian troop positions in a tree line by a Ukrainian drone. The video then shows Ukrainian drone operators sneakily dropping bombs on Russian troops positioned in trenches while being directly hit by them. In another dramatic footage, Ukrainian armed forces discovered and destroyed a large vehicle convoy supporting Russian troops near the village of Novohorivka. Published related videos recorded by drones. drone operators find fat targets, up to a dozen combat vehicles standing under forest paths, and adjust artillery fire accordingly. Judging by the characteristic black and very massive smoke, at least 3 gas stations were destroyed. Another combat vehicle was damaged. According to DeepStateMap.live, Novoharivka was 14 kilometers from the front line. Another Russian failure shows kamikaze Ukrainian special forces drones taking out Russian soldiers hiding in buildings. The footage begins by showing a long line of Russian soldiers fleeing a building. The video then cut to a Ukrainian drone operator wearing VR goggles before the video shows other Russian soldiers fleeing the building. The footage then shows the view from a kamikaze drone before the drone hones in and blows it up. The footage then shows a second drone honing in on the line of Russian soldiers, and hitting their position after they sought shelter in what appears to be a garage. The images were obtained from the Special Operations Forces, SSO of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Tuesday, the 13th of June, along with a statement saying, "Shock FPV drones of the SSO of Ukraine destroy the enemy." The footage was obtained from the Special Operations Forces, SSO of the Armed Forces of Ukraine along with a statement saying, footage of combat operations was shot by UAV operators in the southern direction. Soldiers of the training center of the Special Operations Forces showed how they work against the enemy, who was trying to take the positions of the defense forces by assault. The attack of the Russian military was repelled by soldiers of the SSO together with fellow infantrymen. After that, the enemy made a second assault attempt. But she was also successfully repelled. During the battle, the operators of FPV drones of the SSO of Ukraine demonstrated extraordinary efficiency. Despite the efforts of enemy fighters to hide in shelters, many of them were destroyed by drone strikes. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Sunday called the recent rebellion by Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin a real distraction for Russian President Vladimir Putin that could create greater openings for Kiev's forces as Ukraine mounts its counter-offensive. All of this is likely to unroll in the coming days, in the coming weeks, to the extent that it presents a real distraction for Putin, and for Russian authorities, that they have to sort of mind their rear even as they're trying to deal with the counter-offensive in Ukraine. I think that creates even greater openings for the Ukrainians to do well on the ground, Blinken said.
Si no puedes aportar económicamente al canal, suscríbete, comenta y comparte, esto ayudará mucho a seguir informando.